ETC grant program seeks to provide enjoyable coastal experiences for ETC priority communities. ETC priority communities are people and communities who face challenges or barriers to accessing or enjoying the coast. You all, through this programming, help make this a reality. I'm Morgan Wright, a North Coast Project Manager at the Conservancy, and I'll be taking us through our morning agenda. Vera Miller is from our IT department and is online as our tech support. If you need any assistance, please reach out to Vera through Teams message. And North Coast Project Manager Amanda Townsell will be pasting items into the chat throughout the event. We do have a busy day today with panel discussions where our speakers will share their experience with multi-touch and single-touch programming and meaningful recruitment. We have breakout rooms for networking and discussions, and onboarding training and office hours. We will have 2 5-minute breaks throughout the event, and please feel free to stay for the entire event or hop on and off as needed. To first kick off our day, I'll pass the mic over to one of our wonderful advisory board members, Andrea Sanchez-Davidson. Passing it off to you, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Explore the Coast grant program. As Bryce said, I'm Andrea Sanchez-Davidson, she, her, and I'm a program manager for Resources Legacy Fund and also an ETC advisory board member for the last year and a half. As advisors, our role is to help the State Coastal Conservancy review grant applications, and I like to think that we play a pretty vital role in helping to make access to our beautiful California coastline more equitable. I myself grew up in Southern California and was fortunate enough to have regular access to the beach. I remember how the beach was a place of both adventure and also peace, where I could play, explore, and create lasting memories with my family and my friends. For me, the coast was accessible, but I also realized that not everyone has that same experience. And that's why I think this program is so important. It helps ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, can enjoy and connect with the coast, just like I did growing up. As mentioned a little bit ago, at the heart of the Explore the Coast grant program is the idea of making the coast a fun and welcoming place for all. I believe that creating positive, memorable experiences at the coast is essential, whether that's through recreational activities like the ones that were just flagged in the chat, that are tailored to the abilities and comforts of all participants, educational tours, or simply just the opportunity to spend a relaxing day at the shoreline. I think these experiences really foster a deep connection to the coast. However, enjoying the coast is just one part of the experience or of the equation. The program also aims to inspire participants to become stewards of natural resources. So through active hands-on learning and interactive activities, we're really looking for programming that encourages people to take ownership of the coast's well-being. I had a friend once say, you don't protect what you don't understand or feel a connection to. And I know that for myself, I have really fond memories of going to Catalina Island on my 5th grade field trip and watching rays swim underneath me as I snorkeled. And this awe-inspiring moment helped define and foster my own connection to the ocean. So my hope is that ETC funded programming will also leave participants with a sense of responsibility to protect these spaces for future generations. Today in our panel discussion, we're going to talk a bit about multi and single touch programming. We see many kinds of programming when reviewing applications, both multi-touch and single touch. And when we say multi-touch programming, this usually involves repeat engagement. So through a series of workshops, series of surf lessons, or repeat trips to the coast with the same participants over weeks. This approach helps foster a deeper, lasting connection to the coast. Meanwhile, single touch programming are more sort of one-time impactful experiences. And we acknowledge that these can also be perfect for those that have limited time to sign up for, something more long-term and multi-touch. Both approaches are really vital. Multi-touch programming nurtures long-term relationships, while single-touch programming ensures broad and immediate access. At the end of the day, we're really looking for a quality experience. I'm going to unmute myself. In the second panel discussion, we'll discuss why meaningful recruitment is essential to the program's success. It's really not enough to simply advertise opportunities. as advisors, we're really looking for proposals that engage underrepresented communities by building relationships, developing leaders where there is interest, listening to community needs, and really providing culturally relevant programming. In closing, the Explore the Coast Grant Program is more than just about getting people to the beach. It's about creating enjoyable experiences, breaking down barriers, inspiring stewardship, and prioritizing equity through thoughtful programming and meaningful recruitment. So thank you all for your interest in providing this kind of programming to communities across California, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the webinar. It looks like you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrea. I love the personal story you shared. We are so proud to have you on the ETC Advisory Board. Thanks for the introduction. I'd now like to transition us to our next session and introduce Central Coast Project Manager, Irvin Tang, who will be hosting our first round of ETC grantee presentations and panel discussions. Take it away, Irvin.
Great, thank you, Morgan. I'm happy to jump into the first round of ETC panel discussion and our first topic of just multi-touch and single-touch programming. So I'll share some slides here. First, I share slides first. So first up, speaking on the multi-touch programming, we had a last-minute substitution. So Philip Corachea from My Day Counts will now talk about multi-touch programming in the first part of the panel discussion. Philip, if you're in the room, take it away.
Hello, can I be heard? All right, good. Okay, cool. All right, so my name is Philip and I'm representing my organization, My Day Counts. Our mission is to train people with intellectual and other developmental disabilities, so adult disabilities. And we try our best to achieve this by using our variety of programs, helping them enrich their lives so they could reach their full potential. Big things we do is like further their education, help them on their path to employment, helping them live independently. And a big thing we like to do is expose them to many different opportunities that they might not get the chance to have in their lives. So these Explore the Coast trips have been a wonderful thing for us. Many of them have said they've never been to the beach before, or maybe they've only gone like a few times. They don't really get the chance to go whenever they want. So it's been very, very nice for them to have. As you can see in the pictures here, they're all smiling. You know, a lot of them are happy to have the chance to just be outside in the community. For a lot of them, some of the skills that they're working on for themselves is working on their social skills. So some of them are people that said like, you know, I really want to get a job in the future, but I need to work on my social skills. I'd love to join these trips so they could work on their social skills with their peers, talking with each other, being out in the community. I've had some people tell me before that they're not really a beach person, but they kind of want to just broaden their horizons, expand things in their life, not just stick with how things are. They want to like really make a change in their life, so they wanted to join these trips. And I really pay attention to the mission of these trips. I think that going to the coast and kind of figuring out all the different things you can do is really important for them. It's always fun whenever they return on these trips, like they go to another trip. And you could see in one picture over there on the top right, that's his name's Kobe. He's on a boat. So on our first few trips, I would always ask like, what's your favorite thing to see? And they're like, oh, I see that boat over there. Like, I want to go on a boat. So, you know, we like worked with them. We really got their feedback, helped them like get to have these experiences that they normally don't get. And I go on a lot of these trips with them. I take photos, and I'll just say it's been a blessing because of the many photos I take. of our organization, I think the brightest smiles come from these trips. It's truly a blessing that they get to be so happy going on these trips. That's my little speech.
Great, thanks, Philip. Yeah, sounds like going on these trips is just not only an opportunity to be outdoors, but to like really introduce the outdoors into your lifestyle and your routine. So that's always great to hear. Right. Next, we will have Eric from the Latino Equity Advocacy and Policy Institute, LEAP for short, speak on single touch event-based programming. Eric, are you in the room?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Eric. Feel
How are
free
you?
to talk about your program.
Uh,
I think you're muted right now, Eric.
I did email you my slide. Did you get it in your email?
Okay, slides. Let me pull them up. Okay, just got them. Yeah, I can share them. Give me 1 second. That. And I'll share a slide. Okay. Sharing slide.
All right. So it's me, Eric Ramirez. I'm the grant manager and director of operations for the organization, the LEAP Institute. In the room, I have Herminia Ibarra here with me. She's the one that carries on the actual camps on the ground and does the recruitment, does all the shopping, does all the potlucks. But we have a pretty a great program. We focus on the farm worker community. We are located in Huron, California, which is in Fresno County. We are in the rural area on the west side, so we're about 2 hours from the coast. So, like I mentioned, we focus on farm worker families and farm worker communities, since we're a farm worker town and community. But we have a distinct program where we have an EV rideshare service that we collaborate together, where they don't have to pay for transportation. So when we do the recruitment, we let them know that it's completely subsidized, including the transportation, the setup, the training, the stewardship, the experience, which is the most important. Like as I heard earlier, there was a few saying that this is the first time a lot of these people go to explore the coast and being on the beach, touching the sand and enjoying the activities of setting up the camp, the tent, campfires, the morning breakfasts, the marshmallows over the campfire. So it's a great experience for them all, especially not being able to worry about having to drive over there. So it's kind of a type of like a limo service. They get to, especially if they've never been in an electric vehicle, they get the experience of charging at the charging station, and they take a little break, and stretch their legs and the whole 9 yards. And then we drive them around the coastal areas that we didn't have the pictures of it, but we go see the elephant seals, and we take them walking up to the Hearst Castle and just any little type of engagement or activities we could do for them, so they can feel special for those 2 days. Hermina, you want to add anything?
No.
Great, Eric. Thanks for sharing a little bit more about the LEAP program. Yeah, just getting people to the coast, just funding the transportation component is huge for a lot of our Export to Coast program, because transportation barrier is something that a lot of communities face when it comes to like accessing the coast. So it's great to share that. It's great to learn that your program offers like not just transportation in cars, but also in electric vehicles, which seems to be the next big thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we will move on to Shelley Littleton, who will, from the Friends of Santa Clara River, who will speak on single touch school field trip based programming. So just give me 1 second and I'll pull up your slides. Okay, Shelley, are you in the room?
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Is my slide? I don't see it.
Sharing screen now. Okay, slides should be up.
Great. Hi, I'm Shelley. I'm with Friends of the Santa Clara River. We're a group with the mission of basically preserve and protect the Santa Clara River Valley, and a 1,600 square mile watershed associated with it. It is one of the last natural rivers in Southern California. We're in Southern California. Our river runs between LA to Ventura County, and that's where we take along the river. I should say it's a very historical river, so we say preserve the cultural integrity of it. Before the Spaniards first set foot and named the river the Santa Clara River in 1769, it was home to native Chumash villagers, the Mupu village. The Spanish Padres would come and bring them to the mission ultimately. And so a lot of these communities that grew up around the river are very historic. The Rio Vista School District was established in the 1880s. But a lot of these people today, these are low income agricultural communities, disadvantaged communities that don't have access to a lot of the privately owned areas along the river. Because of our designation of one of the last natural rivers in Southern California, the Nature Conservancy has also taken a big interest in us. And as old gravel mines and different operations are going defunct, the Nature Conservancy is purchasing them and providing access to the river. So a lot of these communities along the river do not have direct access to the river. So we do, through this grant, put them on school buses and drive them up to 25 miles, mostly around 10 miles, to the river estuary. We are a single touch program where we just take an annual school trip. Though we're lucky with our site, and I have a picture of it, that we have different habitats that we're able to do a discovery walk, experiential learning, just what happens along our way, along river habitat. I have ponds there that we circle, and then we actually go to the beach habitat. So during our walks, we're actually able to see river, sandy beach, freshwater marsh, saltwater marsh habitats, and all of the different birds and whatnot along the way. So anyway, that's our program. We originally granted up to 24 trips a year. And I think when the pandemic came and went, we had a 3-year grant, you know, and we didn't spend all our money. We're doing 75 of them this last year. It has become quite popular. So that's our program.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Shelley. Yeah, it's important to keep in mind when we think about the coast, we should also think about all the water that flows into the coast. So the river is definitely an integral part of the coastal system. Now we will move on to, we'll ask a couple of questions and we'll have a short little panel discussion. So starting with the first question I have here, and we can just go in the orders of the presenter. So if Philip, you can answer first, then maybe you can hop to Eric and Shelley next. What are the pros and cons of a multi and single touch programming? So Philip, for you, what are the pros you see in a multi-touch programming?
I would say that the pros is the fact that I get to kind of ask like what trips they've been enjoying the most, so I kind of understand like what their interests are. A lot of times, if it's been a while and I'm like at the trip with them, I try to go to most of them. I don't go to all of them with them, but like I'll ask like, oh, you know, what's been your favorite trip so far? And they're like, oh, I like the time we went over to Newport Beach. Like, so I kind of like understand like which beaches they're enjoying more, and they all have a variety of answers. Do you want me to give a con as well? Or just...
Sure, if you have one.
My only con is for multi-touch. It's like sometimes just scheduling with the people that we bring. So sometimes like we plan for this person to come again, but sometimes things happen. Like they'll just be like, "Oh, I have a doctor's appointment." It's just like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's obviously priority." So that's just like the only unfortunate thing. But fortunately, everyone has so much fun that we always have like backups ready in case, because so many people are interested going to the ghost.
That's good. That's good. So it sounds like a multi-touch program like offers room for like feedback for future programming events, and of course, just retention and recruitment is always poses a problem for any type of programming. Now, Eric, would you like to speak on some pros and cons of single touch programming for the LEAP Institute?
They really like the experience, you know, being able to be on the beach, especially like, you know, in Huron in the summertime. We do most of our camps, you know, around the summertime or in the fall, and you know when it's 110 degrees, you know, here in the Central Valley, and able to go out to the beach and just cool off and enjoy a company with their friends and family, you know, and just kind of eating just different, you know, camp food and that type of experience. You know, they really like that. You know, they just like the whole experience, because a lot of the farmer family, you know, they're constantly working 6-7 days a week sometimes. So to be able to get an opportunity to just kind of kick back and have some leisure and some relaxed time is the super plus.
Great, thanks for sharing. It sounds like taking a trip to the coast definitely helps disrupt any routine that someone may have going on. So it's good to take those breaks. Shelley, and for your single touch programming, are there any pros and cons that you would like to share about?
Yes, and I probably should clarify, I'm not the grant manager. I am a guide that goes on all of these trips. And so I'm more on the delivery part of this program, definitely. But we have in the past, you know, in the spirit of trying to get the students that live in the community to the portion of the river that's closest to them, rather than drive them, you know, 10, 20 miles away, we have smaller sites that we do have access to. But I think, again, as Philip points out, you gather them up for their first trip, but by the second trip, invariably things seem to fall apart as the year goes on. There's a lot more logistical problems. They're great on their first one, but the second one is difficult. So, but they were seeing 2 sites, so that's the trade-off. With the site that we found, you know, it also is a single touch. It's a good site. It has all of the different habitats we can visit. And then also, if the weather is inclement, as it can get also very hot, as Eric points out, it can be very hot upstream for us. You know, if the wind's blowing, we don't spend so much time at the beach. We can stay at the ponds. We have a lot of flexibility at the site. And so, given the nice location of our single touch site, we prefer that. You know, we have a broader reach, probably not as much depth. We put it all in one day, but ultimately, with our work with the with the Nature Conservancy, we're hoping to find closer sites, and then at that point to their communities, and then at that point we will probably do more of a multi-touch approach. So we'll see how we evolve as more access areas become available to us.
Great, thanks for sharing. Yeah, programs are always evolving as the program grows, I guess. So yeah, thank you for your work and just about thinking on the spot for the different programmings. Okay, we will continue with panel questions, and I will, let's see, pull up another one here. So in now for this one, we can start with Shelley and just go backwards here. In your experience with like single touch programming, what strategies have you employed to ensure like inclusivity in your programming so that you're reaching like both like your target audience and also communities like beyond that?
I'm thinking of, you know, out on the trail, actually, because that's where I spend a lot of time. But we do have a lot of English as a second language, or, you know, non-English speaking students that come. And, you know, and we have a completely bilingual staff member that's out there with us too. But we also learn how to communicate out on the trail with sign language. If we want to keep our voices low, we don't want to do a lot of talking because we want to find animals, birds, and things to that we can encounter. And so, you know, we'll quiet, wait, I see something. So we set up a lot of different kinds of sign languages and whatnot, just to indicate to the rest of the group, I've spotted something, let's be quiet and approach. And so I think that's one way of getting everybody inclusive. You know, more on the recruitment side, we're just basically hitting up the school districts, the few along the river, and we do 3 through 5 as one group and 6 through 8. And the teachers that have stepped forward, we've taken them on first. Is how we kind of first come, first serve, I guess.
To hear, yeah. So partnering with neighboring school districts and just working with local communities definitely helps expand the web from there. So you're not just the only person doing the recruitment. Eric Ramirez, same question for you. So with your like single touch programming, what type of strategies have you employed to ensure like inclusive like outreaching in your program?
I guess with our recruitment, it's actually hasn't been very difficult. You know, the Leap Institute is a community center here locally in Huron. So we help folks all day long and talk to various clients just because of our rideshare service. You know, we're always outreaching and talking to clients and people that come in and posting throughout like social media and here locally. So outreach has been pretty easy. Like Mina does a very good job of doing these things, and at times we even have a wait list, people wanting to do the camps, just because we do the transportation and the outreach and everything all at once. So it's pretty it's pretty solid. We've been doing it already for a couple of years now, and they come back with a positive experience, and they tell other friends, and we always try to take new families every time.
That's good to hear. So I know social media and word of mouth is always a good way to expand outreach to different participants. And lastly, Philip, if you would like to speak a little bit on effective like strategies to reach out to like hard to reach communities and to make your program more inclusive.
Yeah. So for my organization, it's a little bit different because we are a day program. So everyone that we serve is like, well, not everyone, almost everyone comes to our facility Monday to Friday. So they're like always here with us. But what we do is pretty much we see first and foremost like who is available to go on these trips. Like we do our trips on Wednesdays. So it's like, okay, who isn't doing another program with us, like taking a college class with us, like who's free. And then normally all we do is just ask like who would like to be part of our groups going. And we always just make sure that anyone who's going, like that they say they want to go. We never want to like tell someone like, oh, you're coming to the beach. Like, we'll say like, do you want to go? We let people who are interested, and as long as they're available, like some people say they want to go, but then they're doing something else like with us. So it's like, well, sorry, like you're already doing another program. But once you're finished with that, then maybe one day you could join us. Like I think someone currently going on our trips, she was taking college classes before, and then she's not taking any on Wednesday this semester, so she's able to like join us on the trips. So we normally just ask people, and we always keep them, I guess, like included when we work on our trips. Like we actually, in our current group of participants going, we even have like meetings on Mondays to kind of like discuss like how these trips are going, like before, like pre-trip events or pre-trip meetings, to kind of just like talk with them, get their feedback, really keep them involved. So that way it's not like we're just doing these trips and we're saying, oh, just come with us, but like they're really taking leadership of like being involved with me and our staff on like what we're going to be doing on these trips. So we really just like to include them as much as we can.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's good to give the voice back to the participants so they have some like ownership and agency over the type of programming that they want to do. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are exploring the coast. Well, that puts a wrap to our first panel discussion. Thank you so much, Eric, Philip, and Shelley for sharing about your organization and just your insight on the different programming types. We will now transition to networking session. So I will put everyone in different breakout rooms, and here everyone can mingle with other Explore the Coast grantees and just share your experience on the different program types. So we will assign you to a breakout room shortly.